Hi y'all, let's make some carne asada tacos. So I started by chopping up some onions, and when I tell you, these onions were so strong, stronger than the chlorine from the Goob Lagoon, if you know, you know. I decided to make a little pico de gallo with some onion, garlic, salt and pepper seasoning up in there. I also gave it a toss, and then I made sure to put a lid and threw it in the refrigerator so all the flavors could marry. I decided to make some refried beans, so once the oil in the pan got hot, I threw in some onions, gave that a little toss. And then once those caramelized a little bit, I threw in the can of beans and gave that a toss, make sure the onions were all incorporated into the bean juice. And then once it starts to boil, that's when you can start going ahead and mashing it. I like to wait until it's super thick, and then that's when I know they're ready. I went ahead and put that to the side to stay warm. I did want to show you guys the meat before I decided to toss in a piece to make sure the pan is hot and crispy. I go ahead and throw in a little batch because I don't want to overcrowd the pan, because then it gets soupy and then you can't have a crunchy little bits of the asada. I did forget to add in the jalapeno, so in this clip I just added in, give it a little tap. So once the meat is popping at you and it's nice and crispy, that's when I like to take it off. So in this next clip, I show you what kind of tortillas I use. To each their own, you can use whatever you want. So one way I keep my tortillas from ripping, because we're gonna add a bunch of stuff onto them, is I like to fry them on both sides, so that way it's nice and pliable and then it doesn't rip on you. So when both sides are nice and bubbly, I like to take it off and let them rest for a couple minutes. I will say I do like to make mine nice and crispy, so I added some cheese and made little quesadillas out of these. I like to open them up after and add all the toppings, which you'll see here, the beans and then the meats. And then I did grab that pico from the fridge, add that on, which is so yummy. I forgot to say I did add lime to that. But then after I added that, I added the cotija, and then we have the tacos. If you made it to the end, I appreciate you watching. I almost dropped them. But besides that, here's an extra little clip of them up close. Till next time, bye!